Hello, friends, and welcome to the Halloween special, the Cinemondo Halloween special. With
Indeed.
Who's
Can
the
you come off
scary?
now?
Who's the scariest of the three? I think I win.
who's the
Oh my
scariest?
It's good.
Hi,
Why y'all
everybody.
wearing those stupid human suits? I had to say it.
It's Mark, Kathy in the middle, and her Donnie Darko rabbit, and Burke over there as I'm going to say Grim Reaper or something creepy. Thanks. Welcome to our Halloween special for 2021, live on YouTube. Oh, there she is. There she is. Burke can't take his off like in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. You know, there's going to be worms and stuff coming out of his ears shortly.
That was not thought out. Woo! Happy Halloween, everyone!
Yeah, happy Halloween. It's so happy to be talking about some of our favorite Halloween movies or ones for this year. Like, I'll just say for my Halloween films, I'm doing stuff, not the usual stuff, because I would put in John Carpenter's Halloween and of course,
Right.
some other classics. These are, for me, just lesser known, but stuff that's stuck with me, movies that I think are worth seeing again. So that's my 5, and I think Kathy and Burke kind of did the same thing.
Yes.
I'm thinking of things that are just fun to watch on Halloween, like maybe with the family and just hanging out. Nothing that's too harrowing or depressing or horrifying, but things that are just sort of like Halloween-ish,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. I think I have a little bit of mix of everything. So who wants to start? We're gonna do like round robin, one film each.
You start.
Me. Okay, I'm gonna start with what I think is a fun film that came out in 2011. It's a British film called Attack the Block. There it is. There's the poster for it, and it was directed by Joe Cornish, and it was produced by the Shaun of the Dead people. In fact, it's like Shaun of the Dead in that it's a fun sort of sci-fi adventure, really fast moving. Young John Boyega from the Star Wars films stars in it, and it's really, if you want a fun time of the movie with cool aliens, funny lines. Nick Frost is in it, who's in Shaun of the Dead. It has that sort of vibe to it. And I remember just really enjoying it. I watched it again recently. I said, this is as good as Shaun of the Dead. It's just not as well known because Edgar Wright maybe didn't direct it. But it's quite good. It's like these aliens make the mistake of coming into the toughest part of London. And they're dealing with London thugs. And it's a lot of fun. It's a good sort of fun Halloween film.
Excellent choice.
Really good one.
Yeah. How about you, Kathy?
How about me? Well, let Bert go first because I want to make
Kathy's
sure
not ready.
I have my images. I still have
go.
Frank hair in my mouth. This is really
Okay.
good.
Gotcha.
I need to fix my hair.
Poor Kathy. So one thing that I think gets neglected around Halloween is movies there's always the scary movies, zombies and monsters and stuff. But it's fun actually and I watch them all the time, but I think a lot of people maybe don't, is I just love the Japanese kaiju movies. And some of them do sort of lean into Halloween territory. And the one I'm about to mention is called Frankenstein Conquers the World, which is a really fun, weird Frankenstein movie. I mean, it's Frankenstein, but he's a giant, and he fights a monster, and it's a weird in Tokyo, yeah, and it's one of the only kaiju movies where the giant monster is just a guy. It's not they dirtied him up and put some stuff on his face, some makeup, but he's not wearing one of those full body costumes. But the other one, I'm taking 2 on my first one as a 2-up because it's a first and second film, like sequel. The second one that came after Frankenstein Conquers the World is called War of the Gargantuas.
Sure.
And it's about the same kind of thing where Frankenstein, part of Frankenstein grows into these 2 monsters, and it's creepy. It's really a weird. They're directed by the guy who does all the Godzilla films, Ishiro Honda, and it's got that feel to it. But these have a little bit of a darker edge to them. These 2 movies, Frankenstein Conquers the World and War of the Gargantuas. That's like,
Wow.
1965, 1966, and they're scary. There's scary kaiju movies, I think, in their own way.
They're good, especially the second one.
They're good.
No, they're real.
Yeah.
They're creepy. They're weird. There's a scene. There's something about them that are just a little bit off. It
Yeah,
makes them just a little bit weirder than.
and the
like
violence
a
is
normal-
kind of shocking in a way that, like the scene where he grabs the nightclub singer. I'll always remember that
Yes.
from when I was
Oh,
a
it's
kid on
fantastic.
the rooftop.
Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's singing a song on the rooftop, at a nightclub, and this big monster appears and takes her,
What? Okay, so my movie, I'm trying to cover only female directors in my top 5.
Oh,
Even though I have a million top 5s, but I thought, I'm going to concentrate on the girls bringing it for Halloween. So my first one is A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which we had covered in an old list when we covered Mike Flanagan's favorite films, and for good reason, because this movie was very surprising. I thought vampire movie overdone, it's like, don't need to see it. But this was such a beautiful, like, just unique to show. It was beautiful black and white, and it was sort of this Iranian family is, there's a vampire influence, and I don't even want to say that much about it because it's so much better to see it. But it was directed by, I'm not going to say her name right. I'm just going to say I'm wrong. Anna Lily Armapour, and
Yes.
she is a massive talent. I mean, this was such a self-assured, beautiful film, and just a whole new way to look at a vampire movie. So I think if you like the sort of artsy movie and you want a little bit of horror, it's not super graphic, but it has its, it's not your usual vampire tale. So I would highly suggest people watch that.
It's a great movie, beautifully done. Yeah, it's just
Excellent choice.
again another sort of interesting, disoriented film. Okay, my
Okay, real
second
quick
one-
before we go
Yeah.
to the second ones, I wanted
Sure.
to do some horror trivia. you see it?
Oh, yes.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun in between sections. We'll do horror trivia, and we're going to ask the people in the comments. And I see we have some comments. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chad said fantastic poster talking about that beautiful girl walks home alone
Right.
yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
It was a great poster, and those kind of graphic posters are not common because
Right.
it's hard to get those through because people think they're too artsy or they don't look scary or
Right.
whatever. So that's pretty cool. Good comment there. So what I was going to do is I was going to bring out I thought I was going to be ready here, but I was not.
And Chad is a movie poster professional.
Chad designs
Yes.
movie posters, so
Right.
his opinion matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So all I need to do is ask you guys to say a color, and I will ask that question. It's green, yellow, orange, red, blue, or purple, and you can
Oh.
decide. And I'll ask the question, and people in the audience, I want you to answer, and no cheating.
What's
Like-
closest to burnt umber? No, I'm kidding.
That would be
Brown.
orange.
Okay, let's do orange.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the card. Okay, this is like the card with the tiniest writing in the world, right? So let me see if I can even read this. I'm gonna put on my glasses. Okay.
So, are we asked? We're gonna wait a little bit and let the commenters answer,
Sure.
or should
Yeah,
we
we'll let
just blurt
commenters
out the
answer.
answer?
So I literally cannot see this. It's so tiny. What a great idea for a segment. Okay, let's see. What cannibal was the only one to survive the events of Wrong Turn?
Wow, I don't know that one.
That's some obscure art right
That is
there.
obscure. Yeah.
Come on, you
What?
guys. Zombies. Okay, anyone in our audience, and don't look this up.
Tick,
We got it.
tick, tick.
TikTok. No one's gonna know. This is so obscure.
Yeah.
So
I have
obscure.
I have one that might not be as obscure. Should I
Well,
throw it out?
we're
or
not
will you
asking
know?
your question right now, are we? I know that Mark's the only one that has not taken his costume off.
Oh, this is staying on the whole time. I kind of like it. My curly
Oh
locks.
my god. Okay,
Ah.
the answer is no one's gonna get it. It's 3 finger.
Ah.
There you go, people. Everyone wanted to know.
Yeah.
Now, when that comes up in your trivia contest, you can,
Yeah.
probably have someone read it better. But there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. What a great idea.
No, it's a good idea. That's just a tough
I
question.
meant to introduce Skeleton Dog, who is our host for the segment we're talking about, and he's really close to camera, and my dog hates
Aw.
it. So, hello,
Aw.
Skeleton Dog. Hello.
Poor skeleton dog.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, we're very
needs-
mature here.
He
Okay.
needs some feed.
Okay. Is it
Sure.
Mark's turn for the?
Sure. Okay, the second one for me after Attack the Block is I'm going to do a genre bender. I think those are interesting where the two genres mix.
Ooh,
And this one is a
fancy.
film that I know Kathy saw, and it's called Bone Tomahawk. Came out about
Ooh. Oh my
5 years
God.
ago. Directed by S. Craig Zahler. It was an interesting filmmaker, and it's a huge, big cast. Kurt Russell,
Yep.
Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, Richard Jenkins, and it's a Western. And it starts out as kind of a Western, a posse, these big actors playing cowboys and stuff. In fact, if I can go to my my visuals here, you can see like the poster, it focuses on Kurt Russell as, if I can get it up here, where is it? Where are you?
We are so
Kurt?
professional.
There it
Oh, that's
is.
a great poster also.
So that, and there's ones for each of
looks
the main
great.
characters, but
Character
that's
cells.
classic Kurt Russell stuff. But it turns into it's about finding some people that are lost, and so it starts out as a Western, then turns into something different, almost this weird sci-fi horror mix that gets really graphic and violent. And they're these people, I don't know what you would call them, but they're not indigenous people. They're just these people that do these weird things with their throat, and you can see one of them running towards one of our heroes here. And it gets very odd and extremely violent. I mean,
Yeah.
the violence.
I
in
mean,
is
it has a sequence in
shocking.
it. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen in a movie, and that's like
Yeah.
a Western that doesn't seem like it would have it in it, which made it even worse. Like, oh.
And it's weird because Kurt Russell's in that scene and
Mhm.
Richard Jenkins in that scene. So it's this weird
my
mix,
God,
and
this-
it's one of those disorienting
show it?
films.
we won't show it.
No, that scene is.
We don't want to scare everyone away.
But it's a long film, but it's really well done, really well made. The dialogue's great. It's just an odd mix, and so I find it a fascinating movie. I keep thinking about. So that's
Wow.
my
Yeah,
second Halloween
That's a good
movie.
one.
Bone Tomahawk.
Okay, Burke.
Bone
All right, Burke.
Tomahawk. Well, one of the things, the classic monster kind of things of Halloween and monster films and all that is the old Universal horror films. You know, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon. You know, those are the classic monsters. But there were some other Universal films from maybe even earlier or around that same time that maybe don't get the same amount of love as those because because Frankenstein has the monster is such a visual, you can't not see Frankenstein when you think about Universal Pictures horror films. But there's a movie that I really love called The Old Dark House, and it's got Boris Karloff in it, and he plays a creepy looking,
Creepy dude.
creepy Karloff dude. It was when he was credited as Karloff, and it's got Melvin Douglas, an early Melvin, and it's about a bunch of sort of at the time very hip folks out driving, and the rain is pouring down, and they see an old house, and they're like, we've got to stop there because the roads are muddy and we can't keep driving, and they go in, and there's creepy stuff afoot in the house.
Creepy stuff
And it's
afoot.
yeah, I mean I don't even need to go into it any more than that because you just should watch it because it's really fun. It's
And
a
it's
fun
James Whale, right? I mean,
James Whale.
and Charles Lawton's in it, which is
Charles
interesting.
Lawton shows up too.
Yeah.
And it also has some Ernest
Oh,
Thesiger, I think is how it's pronounced. And he played Dr. Pretorius in The Bride of Frankenstein. He's a very hammy actor type guy, and he is so classic in this movie. It's full of really interesting characters. It's got kind of a creepy vibe to it, but it's more fun than creepy.
Yeah.
It's got there's a woman in the house who can't hear, and it's just I don't know, it's very funny. She's
It's a good creepy movie in a weird way. Yeah. 'Cause
yeah,
it's James Whale. It just seems it's odd. It's an odd movie.
It's just odd.
it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's one of those movies that anytime I watch it, I always enjoy it, and I watch the whole thing. It's like, and while I'm here talking about this one, I wanted to bring in some other ones too very quickly before we move on. Some other old films like that are fun to watch that aren't the standard, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman. There's a movie called The Black Cat, which is another one that has Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi in it, and that's from the 30s, and it's a really fun movie to watch. Very creepy. That one is actually creepy, scary.
Wait, I thought it was my turn. What is this?
and okay, go ahead. I was just gonna.
Burke has all these extras. We brought 5. Burke brought 10. Go ahead if they're in the genre. No.
Oh, okay. Freaks is a great one.
Yeah.
That is
That's
a
it.
great one. Very creepy.
Take it away.
Okay, I'm doing this one. American Psycho, a lot of people don't realize this was directed by a woman. This is Mary Harron. And this came out like years ago, and it still kind of set a tone that I don't think has been hit by a lot of female directors in this kind of genre. Starred Christian Bale, it's A-list. It was ultra violent. Like, you don't expect to see somebody like Christian Bale and Gerard Leto is in this doing this kind of a movie. But it also has it's also very funny. And so it rides this fine line of being so extreme, yet this sort of weird dissection of the upper corporate, douchebag who's at the top and isn't necessarily especially educated, but he's just ruthless. And so, a lot of people wonder, was this all in his head? You're never really totally sure at the end if this happened. I feel like they left it sort of ambiguous.
Right.
But it also has one of my favorite scenes ever in a film is the whole business card comparison scene where he and all of his, and this is what's so funny about it, everyone in that scene is a vice president. Everybody's card says so-and-so vice president. So you have like 10 people with vice president cards, which is already hilarious. But just seeing, Christian Bale simmering and getting more and more snotty about it, like, yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Just like, it's the best scene. So, I like bringing up these films that people aren't aware that women make because they can really bring hardcore horror to the fans. And so, just because it's a woman doesn't mean you're going to get anything, they're not going to hold their punches. So I wanted to suggest that one. It's a great one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Like it. So, okay, do you have a trivia question for us?
Okay.
Beth?
Hold on. Let me get all my unnecessary props. Okay. Here comes the card.
This will be a trivia question from
Here
Wrong
comes the
Turn
dog.
2.
He has a card. See? Ooh. Okay. It's weird because it's not mirrored and I can't see how tell what's going on. Okay. Go away, dog. All right, here we go. What color do we want? Green, yellow, orange, red, blue, purple. Anyone in our audience want to say? Let's see if anybody out there. Oh, and I see Jill's in here. Jill has a... She's talking about American Psycho, that Cody dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Chad
Cody in
commented.
the... I don't know, you probably don't know Cody. Cody is... Rigby is a Peloton instructor who's on Dancing with the Stars right now, and he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I do. Know that. Oh, we
Mom
got
says,
purple.
okay, I say
Purple.
mom says
Purple.
Catherine. Purple. Okay, I'm going to have to read this in a dumb way. What Gilligan's Island actress also starred in 1975's film version of The Stepford Wives?
Oh, I know that.
Me too.
Okay.
We'll leave that for the...
Does anybody
Oh,
know? Does anybody know? Oh, Larry said green. We'll do green next time, Larry. What is it?
Stepford Wives, Gilligan's Island star.
An actress from
I thought you
Gilligan's
knew.
Island. I do know.
Oh, we do, but
Oh.
we're waiting. Oh, Jill got
Jill
Jill
it.
got Tea in Louise.
Jill.
Okay. Oh, okay.
it. Nice. Good job, Jill.
Jill got it.
You get
Go,
some parting
Jill.
gifts. Some Z-Brick is coming your way.
Nice. I know. I didn't realize he was in that. That's really cool.
Yeah. She
All
was
right.
on
See,
the
that's a
list.
cool little bit of trivia. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Skeleton Dog, for that little tidbit. Okay, next films.
All right, my third one. I'm going to go back. This is going back to the early '60s.
Oh, nice.
Blood and Black Lace, directed by Mario
Wow.
Bava, who's sort of like
Yes.
the precursor to Dario Argento and all that kind of Italian horror. He's the guy who started it. An interesting filmmaker. I kind of think he's kind of erratic. Like, some of his stuff is really great and some of the stuff is not so great.
Right.
This
yeah.
movie I just saw it this week for the first time, and I loved it. I mean, it's really got some great sort of garish stuff in it. Like, there's a lot of scenes that take place in this fashion, this haute couture fashion house.
Nice.
So there's a lot of mannequins, these dark colors, and there's a murderer like basically a slasher going through. It's a very early slasher flick,
Yeah.
starring Cameron Mitchell, who a lot of people might not remember. He's an American actor who was in a lot of TV shows and movies. But in this, because it's one of these international productions, Italian, German, English, he's actually dubbed. His voice is dubbed in by Paul Frees.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so Paul Frees, who's Burgermeister, you know his voice, and it's just weird.
Haunted
That's not-
Mansion.
Yeah, that's not Cameron Mitchell talking. Anyway, it's really fun. There's one scene in an antique store that is really creepy because there's a light flashing on and off, and when it's off and it comes on, there's somebody there. Then the light goes off and he's disappeared and stuff.
Right.
So then there's some stuff that's really sort of dull, but it's super fun. It's garish. It's pretty violent for its time, with that great fake red blood everywhere.
That's
so
funny.
Yeah.
Looks like
I really
ketchup
li-
almost.
yeah, I really liked it. So
That's really
Blood
fun.
and Black Lace is my third, and that would be in the
Nice.
fun sort of old school Halloween film.
These are great ones. These are all so good.
Yeah. Okay. What about you,
Okay.
Burke?
Well, I'm going to have to ask for another pass here because I'm going to say more than one thing. But instead of naming one movie, I'm going to name one TV series.
Ooh.
And it was a series that it devastated me when I was a kid. It was so scary to me, and it came along at a time when I was at the perfect age to be scared by a TV show,
Right.
And it's The Night Gallery, which is was produced by Rod Serling, who had done The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone was also scary in some ways, but it sort of leaned more towards sometimes like allegory or science fiction. Somebody suddenly is in their life is actually a TV series, and they're like, wait a minute,
Right.
I'm not an actor, I'm a person.
Yeah.
These thought experiment kind of things. But the Night Gallery was just flat out horror. They were flat out horror stories of that time, and there were some great writers going around in the 70s, and there's a couple of episodes. I'll just mention one. There was one called The Caterpillar that's really incredible, about a earwig that eats its way through your brain and comes out the other side, and a guy tries to kill someone with one. And of course, the guy who he hires to put the earwig in the bed of his victim makes a mistake and puts it in the bad guy's bed, and so he has to suffer through all this horrible night of an earwig eating through his brain. But he miraculously survives. And they say it's a miracle that you survived, but we examined the earwig when it came out, and it's a female, and she's just laid eggs.
So
So-
why do you like this show over Twilight Zone? Like what makes it scarier?
Oh, I
Because,
don't- I like
I
'em
compare
both,
those
but-
a lot because they're sort of similar.
Well, they're similar because they're so well written, and there's short vignettes, they're stories, they're anthology
Anthology.
story. Each
Yeah.
one is different. But Twilight Zone had some science fiction-y kind of elements to it, and it was really thoughtful. And Night Gallery had an episode. I mean, Twilight Zone had a scary doll episode. If you remember the chatty, Talkie Tina and Telly Savalas, going head to head. Telly Savalas versus a doll, which is such a great episode and really creepy. But there was a doll episode on the Night Gallery that is about a revenge story where somebody sends a doll to the daughter of someone that he wants to victimize, and the little girl falls in love with this doll, and this is the doll.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
And the dad
Oh.
comes home and he's like, "Get rid of that thing. Get that thing out of the house." And the girl
That's
and the
so
little
funny.
girl is like, "No, I love her. She talks to me at night."
friend.
And it's super
That's
creepy.
really
There's
funny.
some Night Gallery episodes that are genuinely scary, and I think it's available. You can find it on like Netflix, I believe.
Well, you
That's
know
great.
that one of my scariest ones is the one where the spider grows.
Spider, yeah.
Ugh, Mark hates spiders.
That has in my brain since I was 8 years old when I saw it. There's a scene where the giant spider's behind a bed. I still think about
Yeah.
that. It's
Oh
terrifying.
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
But there was a bunch of them in the Night Gallery. It had a vibe of horror, of scariness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, just one thing: the movie version, which I think was a pilot, had 3 episodes. There's one with Roddy
Yes.
McDowell
Yeah.
and Ossie
Oh, yeah,
Davis.
right.
That's fantastic. I think Spielberg might have directed that one. I'm not sure.
Spielberg directed the one that was about the blind woman.
Oh, with Joan Crawford.
With
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
But the Roddy McDowell one is classic, you know.
Oh,
and
that's great.
the-
He's
all-
always good, and it's just creepy. Creepy.
Yeah, he's good at being freaked out, you know, like in the scenes
Yeah.
where he's freaking out. Roddy McDowell was always so good at flipping out.
So funny. He's so
Okay.
entertaining. All right, so my next one is a film by Karen Kusama, who's also another great talent. I love The Invitation.
Oh, yeah.
Me
It's
too.
first of all, this is a gorgeous poster to me.
Yeah.
Like, I love that, you know, it all takes place at this kind of LA, you know, hipster house party. He's invited by his ex-wife or maybe ex-girlfriend, but she's the mother of his child. So there's a lot of drama, a lot of baggage. So, you know, and the crack in the glass is very important. So I love this because you really don't know what this is going to be. Like, you walk into it, he arrives
Yeah.
at the party with his date. It's all these really nice people, and they're all sitting around. Just looks like a nice party. You know, you'll recognize some of the actors in the scene. They're all really good. And it slowly sort of starts getting just a little snipier, a little creepier, and they just start turning the screws a little bit, and then it goes completely off the rails. You do not see this you barely see this coming when they finally make this big announcement. I'm not gonna say what it is, but
Right.
eventually the movie takes this total left turn, and this film ends like with one of the most chilling, beautiful last shots of
Yeah.
a film I've seen in a long time. Just involves these red lights. Oh my god, I get chills just talking about it. I also really like this film because it's very familiar. We all have lived
Yeah.
in these neighborhoods. You know, it's like when you see this shot, you know, it's like it looks very familiar just seeing the background.
Well,
Yeah.
Chad combat took place in our old neighborhood, Beechwood
Yeah.
Canyon.
That's right, it is Beechwood Canyon. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. I really like this. So
And it's,
go ahead.
no, I'm just going to say that Karen Kusama is a great director, and this
Oh,
is
she's so
you know,
good.
you know, everything she does is quite good, and she really nails it on this one. It's so creepy.
It's funny too because I've mentioned a lot of these women. And a lot of this is a lot of their first films, which I think is incredible. That it's some of the really early films because they're so accomplished and confident. It's crazy.
I don't
Yeah.
think this
So,
was her first one.
Not
though.
her first one, but
No, right.
yeah, never mind.
no.
I just lied, totally lied.
No, but
What was her
I
first
get it.
film?
I think Jennifer's Body came out.
Oh, was that
before
first?
this.
Okay, yeah, I guess it
think
was.
So. I think so.
Yeah, a lot of people love that.
Yeah.
I need to see that
Cool.
again.
These are all
That was
great
going to be on my
choices.
list, but I just couldn't decide if I wanted to watch it.
Right.
But yeah, that's another big, you know, female empowerment kind of film, but they kind of turn it on its head by making it look like a kind of teen sex romp kind of horror, you know, but it's definitely not.
Right.
So yeah, 2 great films by the same director.
Yes. Worth checking out. All right, we should do it since Larry asked for a green card for
Oh,
the
okay.
trivia question. That's what we should
Let's bring it
check
on.
out.
Here it comes. Ooh, here comes the dog. See,
That
he's
poor
got a
little
card.
dog.
I know, he's very skinny.
Give him some kibble.
He needs to eat something.
Some Gainsburgers,
Green.
please.
Yeah.
All right. Screen legend Betty Davis stars as the menacing widow in what 1978 NBC miniseries?
Ooh.
Wow. Why don't I know that?
I know. I thought this.
That's-
I'm like, this is a Burt question. It's got
That's
Burt
right in
written
his
all over it.
wheelhouse. 1978. Oh, it's I remember she was in like a big mini series.
A little
in the
quick
late
Roddy
70s.
McDowell comment from Catherine. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh,
Well,
Burt,
we'll
you
give-
don't know this.
I
Well, let's
don't
get
know.
the-
I
Anybody in the audience, do you know the answer to this question?
I
A
think
Betty
once
Davis
you answer it, I'll
miniseries.
go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that a million
I
times.
know that. But it was a
Nobody
mini
knows.
series, right?
Yeah, I
She's a
think so.
menacing widow.
A menacing widow.
in a mini series.
NBC.
NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What?
I
Okay,
give up.
nobody.
Somebody else is going to have to answer that one.
The Dark Secret of Harvest Home.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even know
Everybody's
that.
like, no, never seen it.
I don't think
remember
I've
it.
seen it.
Wow,
remember
Berg, no way. Okay. All
can't think
right,
it was
that was.
any
These
year,
are some
but-
hard questions. I have to say, I'm a little
Next round,
blown away.
I have one that's maybe a little bit easier that people might have a shot
Okay,
at.
okay.
So that'll be next time. Okay. My next film, my fourth film, is I love contained thrillers, simple stories, in a tight little thing. Just kind of elemental horror movies. And this one is called The Monster, which is a very generic title. Directed by Brian Bertino, who did The Strangers. And this one stars Zoe Kazan, and she plays a mother who there's some kind of family, situations where she takes her 10-year-old daughter, and they drive off in the dark down a lonely road. The car breaks down, and there's a monster that's attacking them, and that's the story. But it's so well directed and well acted by her. I think Zoe Kazan is a great actress, and she really brings it here. And here's a shot. I'll show this. We're going to show you the monster here, but that's okay. This is the only.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not a CGI monster. It's a practical effect.
I don't know if I've seen this. It doesn't look
It's
familiar.
very tight. It's like 85,
cool.
one of those 85-minute tight movies, and it's just her daughter, and this monster basically, and it's just trying to outwit this monster that's in the woods. So it's a
Wow.
good, creepy, scary Halloween film.
I remember you telling me about that one. I need to watch it.
Yeah, The Monster. It's
Yeah.
like kind of went, but I think his work is interesting. I think The First Strangers is a very creepy home invasion movie, one of the scariest ones.
Yeah.
So I think he's a talented director who does these sort of genre flicks. So
Nice.
check it out, The Monster.
The
Cool.
Monster. That's
The
a great
Monster.
name for a Halloween movie.
I hope everyone's taking notes, or you're gonna have to watch this all over again.
Oh, you can't watch this. You can't watch this enough. What are you talking about?
No, yeah, everybody's gonna watch this 5 or 6 times for sure.
Exactly. Okay, Burke, what do you got for
All
number
right.
4?
Well, number 4, another sort of more like a genre with a primary. I really like movies that fall into a category called folk horror.
Yeah, those are great.
I think the most recent legit example of it is Midsummer by Ari Aster.
So good.
And it's a lot of times it's about these sort of natural, almost culty, paganistic kind of horrors. There's like religious horror, which includes things like The Omen and The Exorcist and things like that. But then if you take that and instead of having it be Catholicism, have it be this sort of pagan cult or something, it becomes folk horror. And
Yeah.
for me, the classic example is The Wicker Man. And it's actually really fun. It's a fun movie to watch, a good fun Halloween movie, even though it is kind of got a downer of an ending. It's the kind of downer ending.
But that's what
that-
makes it memorable.
But it's the kind of downer ending you can kind of tolerate. It's not.
Was Nick Cage in this?
That's the remake. How dare you?
I'm just, how dare you even confuse people with the Nick Cage? Well, I just want to bring it up because people might think it was a Nick Cage version, and you want to see
Not the Nick
original.
Cage version of it. The,
Even though I'm
the
sure he's good in it.
1973 version of it. But I just wanted to quickly mention, I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a few others that are really good. Another sort of recent one is The Witch from 2015.
Black Phillip is my favorite character ever.
But things that are kind of based on like antique ghost stories and curses and things like that. There's a film called Blood on Satan's Claw from 1971 and another one called Mark of the Devil from 1970. There's kind of a vibe to these films, like you're seeing something real. They're so cheaply made that you feel like the filmmakers just took a camera out and filmed things that were actually happening.
Right.
That to me is like the best quality of those old horror films sometimes. Like when you watch a film that was cheaply made but brilliantly made. I mean, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for instance, you feel like somebody just took a camera out there and filmed stuff that actually happened, because it's just too gritty and dirty to be planned. You know what I mean? It's like you don't get a sense of the crew standing right off camera. And with a lot of these folk horror type films like Blood on Satan's Claw, you feel like you're just watching something that happened.
Yeah.
It's like who would have planned a movie like that? It just seems like it just happened. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that's my next choice. My
I wanted to show a picture
Oh,
from
that's
Burke's choice, The
not-
Wicker Man with Nick
that's
Cage.
not the one.
No.
Just in case anyone wanted to know.
That's not the one.
No, he did. His was with what was the guy's name? Edward. What's the name of the actor who starred in that? Oh gosh, I know it was directed
Help
by
from
Robert
the
Hardy.
audience. What's the actor's name?
Edward Woodward.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's his name.
That's
He was
good.
the star of The Equalizer, which was a TV show in the 80s, I think. So anyway, it's a great film, and it's creepy
Chad makes a
because
good point about Midsummer too,
yes.
because that's
Yes.
what it was. Very strange to see a horror film with a beautiful natural background and blue skies and flower kind of costumes, and that
It's
did make
really
it extra creepy
hallucinogenic.
somehow.
The idea that the
is.
sunlight is sort of like it's almost like, what am I seeing? It's like the darkness, it's hard to see in, but that one was just like this overwhelming
Plus,
brightness.
it's all
Yeah.
day sun. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like there's never darkness. So that's
And that makes it disturbing in and of
disorienting.
itself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think Larry was commenting on what you were saying, Mark. Lady Macbeth.
About Lady Macbeth.
I don't know.
Oh, about my hair, you mean?
I don't know.
Like-
You're talking about something.
Oh, but
Okay. Any more folk horror that you want to suggest, Burke? Or you?
How about the Devil's
yeah,
Rain?
but I'll
Burke?
pass it over. The Devil's
we can hear
Rain is
more.
a cool one, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Devil's Rain. Yeah. Haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Yeah.
All right, Kathy, what's your fourth choice?
It's kind of an obvious one, but it needs to be done.
Okay.
Catherine Bigelow's Near
Oh.
Dark, and this movie still holds up. My
Yep,
God,
it
it still
does.
holds up. Woo! It is rough. It is like it was the beginning of when vampires started becoming a little more rock and roll, a little more mainstream, little less like gothic and like capes and hiding in their coffins at night. Like these guys were all like driving the car around, painting the windows black. Like as long as sun didn't hit them, they were okay. So they stayed in like these cheap hotel rooms. It's a beautiful film, and I love Bill Paxton in this so
Yeah.
much. He just
Yeah.
makes this movie. But this bar scene is just a huge standout. When these vampires kind of come, walking into this bar, this honky tonk bar, and here's Bill Paxton looking cool. This was after apparently he was covered in
Yeah.
blood. Um,
right.
But they walk into this bar and they're just like hanging out and they're putting stuff in the jukebox and they're just hanging out. And this girl brings over a tray and would you guys like drinks? And they're like, just a glass. And she's like, weirdos. Puts the glass down, instantly throat cut, blood in the glass, and all hell breaks loose. It's insane. So I love this movie because Catherine Bigelow is a very muscular director. She really knows how to bring it. So highly, highly recommend
Oh,
this
Bill-
really unique vampire film.
Bill Paxton completely stole every scene he was ever
every
in
scene.
every movie.
So
it's
good.
like you just quote the guy. And there was a kid in this movie that was also in that had also been in River's Edge, who was this.
Yeah, the kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jill just mentioned Adrian Pasdar. He was actually in that shot too.
Adrian
he was like
Pasdar
the
was in
kind of
that movie.
new vampire that was initiated into it against his will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the kid in that was the son of the actor who played Father Karras in The Exorcist.
That's right.
And he was really good. And why can't I remember his name? Is this Jacob something?
I
Why
know.
don't
Like,
I?
we're trying to find this kid. Anyone in the audience know this kid's name?
The kid's name is, and he was in. He played a really creepy kid in Joshua Miller. Yeah.
Oh, Miller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
course.
Jason Miller's son. But
Mm-hmm.
he played a really creepy kid in River's Edge as well.
Yeah. He really.
But in
did.
this one, he's this tragic child, he's an adult. He's like, I don't know how many 100 years old or something, vampire,
Yeah.
who was made into a vampire when he was a little kid. And I love the idea that he's stuck, he's stuck in this kid's body.
I know that was great, and he was frustrated by it because
Yeah.
he was a man.
He's
Yet
a
he was
full-grown
treated like a
100-year-old
little
man.
kid.
Yeah.
And so none of the girls want anything to do with him. Here's a
Yeah.
picture of him with the cast. It's like
Yeah.
the rest of the cast, he was great.
Yes.
But yeah, he's
Yes.
such a little punk ass.
Yeah.
Right.
He was so funny.
Absolutely.
He was great in it, though. I loved him in this.
Yeah. And the other, there's Jeanette Goldstein, who's,
Oh,
played,
she's
So good.
who
incredible.
was so great in Aliens.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
Excellent.
Oh, trivia.
Should I do
Or
the trivia
should
question?
Should Mark do his
Oh,
trivia
Mark
question?
has a trivia question.
I have a trivia
Okay.
question because based on
The
a film I
dog is
watched.
like, fine, be that way.
Take a break, skeleton. You get a 5-minute break. Get some rawhide or something. So I just watched this movie. It's from the classic sci-fi film Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Okay, so we're going back in time, but there's
I
a
love
very
that movie.
famous director.
Just want to throw you
has-
off your game by showing Pod Sound School's comment.
Oh, that's Posta wig.
I've
Thank
seen
you.
Steve in a few wigs. He can't throw stones.
Okay, so my question is,
Trivia,
who is the
trivia.
famous director who had a bit part in the famous movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956?
William
Plays
Castle.
Nope.
Damn.
Plays Charlie the meter reader. That's my trivia question.
the meter
Famous director, no longer alive, made some famous films
Anyone?
in the 60s
Anyone?
and 70s. It's so weird to see his name in the credits, and yes, he plays a very bit part in that movie. There's one line. Anybody?
I
Anybody?
do not know that, but maybe I do in the back of my mind somewhere. But
Should I? give
that's a
the
good
answers?
question.
That too
Any
weird?
hints? He's
And this
a-
is
he's
the
a
original
director.
Invasion of the
Hmm.
Body Snatchers.
Yes, the one directed by Don Siegel, and it's a great movie. It's a
It's a really
tight
fun
80
movie.
Wow.
Yeah,
Also
and-
shot in Kathy's old neighborhood, like right there at
That's
that,
right. They're down past the Beechwood Market. They have a
Yeah.
scene where he runs past it.
Yeah,
That's right.
and Sierra Madre, where they have the great scene where all the
Right.
people come out to the get the pods and go to different towns. That's a
That's
creepy
right.
scene. So anyway, the famous director who plays Charlie the meter reader is, should I give it away?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam Peckinpah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
That's a huge director.
yeah.
Sam Peckinpah.
Wow.
It's so weird. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he
Wow.
had a couple of small acting roles before he became a director.
That's really funny.
That's pretty
Anyway.
cool.
That's very cool. Nice trivia question. That's a good one. Should
That is a good one.
That's a good one. Okay, so shall I go to my last film?
Yes.
Okay, this is decidedly not fun. This is more in that world of dread horror and just like sad and it's a film called Lake Mungo.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
Who,
It's creepy.
It's incredibly creepy, and I'll just show. Actually, I don't want to show that one. Hold on a second. This is just the poster. Hold on.
The poster's nice. The poster looks a little almost sci-fi.
Mm.
Yeah, let's get it up here.
It's got a little.
it is.
I guess the screen kind of treatment makes it look almost kind of sci-fi.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
ghosty kind of sci-fi.
It's a
feel, too.
faux documentary, and what's interesting about it is the director Joel Anderson. It's an Australian film.
Are we
It was
spoiling
never.
it?
Oh no, we're not. Why is that there? Spoiler zone.
Why is that
Gee
there?
whiz.
Hey, this is live. We make mistakes. Deal with it.
What's good about it, it's like the director did not set out to make a horror movie. He decided he wanted to make a documentary about grief, family grief. This is about a family that loses
Yeah.
their daughter in a boating or an accident on Lake Mungo. But it turns into a horror film, and that's what makes it so powerful. The first hour is really just talking to these people. Then you start seeing these weird images and what's happening with this dead daughter. And it really affected me, and I know it's one of these films that's out there that a lot of people don't know about it, but I know some people talk about it as one of the scariest movies they've seen, and I get it. It's just it's that perfect mix, and it's about dread. Like Hereditary is about dread.
Yeah.
This is like Hereditary. It has that vibe, but it's a faux documentary. And this filmmaker has never made another movie since, and nobody really knows what happened to him. There's just this weird vibe about this film. And
I like that
so,
movie too because it's sort of unreliable narrator-ish.
Right.
Where they're doing this documentary and they're filming all these things and there's kind of weird in sort of insidious way. There's like if you look in corners or if you're looking in windows, you see creepy things happening and
Oh,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
notice it till they've already filmed it. I love
Yes.
that stuff, kind of found
Yeah,
footage. This is a
me
really
too.
nice film, really good
Yeah.
film.
So Lake Mungo is one that's
Really good.
stuck with me. Like all my 5 films, for one reason or another, I just keep thinking about a thing. That was a movie I really enjoyed. So Lake Mungo is my final choice.
Yeah, great.
Excellent. That is a good choice.
The big finale.
Yeah. Well, I love old films. And I like old things that are kind of cheaply made because like I was talking about before, they kind of have a vibe to them.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a shoestring budget kind of makes people become resourceful with their filmmaking. They sort of have to take
Surprise! They'll scare people.
they have to take they have to do tricks. They have to use trickery to tell their story sometimes, and sometimes that gives a film a really interesting edge. And there's a film there, with Night of the Living Dead by George Romero was super cheap. When you look at that, you get the idea that it's like he was thinking, let's make a scary monster movie, but we can't really afford any monsters. What can we use? And I bet they just had this idea. Let's just have regular people.
Yeah.
Just walking.
People
like
are the
this.
scariest monsters in real life too.
And let's just say that they're dead and they came back. It's a brilliant idea. I mean, how much money did they save by having crowds of these zombies? And once you're told those are dead people walking, suddenly that crowd of people is hugely creepy. But the movie I want to bring up is called Carnival of Souls
So good.
from 1962.
So weird.
Yeah.
It's made by a guy named Herc Harvey, and it stars an actress named Candice Hilligoss, who it's got the feel of an old, 60s kind of horror film, kind of pensive, kind of thoughtful vibe to it. But it's also the fact that it was shot, I think, probably on cheap film stock or something, and not the best quality, not the best production value.
Yeah.
It's got this beautiful, creepy vibe to it.
Yes.
The music is unusual. It's sort of like this organ music.
Yeah,
And,
that's great. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's made so cheaply. I mean, I think the budget was a lot of guerrilla filmmaking.
Yes.
A lot of non-actors. I think Carrie, what's her name again? Candice
Hilligoss.
She's the only actual legitimate actor in it. Everybody
Right.
else sort of is like friends,
Yeah.
And I believe it's another case like George Romero, and George Romero had made industrial films, like I guess like training films or something. So he knew how to operate a camera and the sound and all that kind of stuff, and how to edit. And yeah, there she is, and she's just great in it.
Oh, so
And-
haunting.
Yeah, and I think this guy Herc Harvey had been a industrial filmmaker as well, like he was not from Hollywood. He didn't make the movie in Hollywood. He made it wherever he lived. I don't know, like Colorado or something. And
Kansas. He's a Kansas guy. A lot of it is
Kansas.
filmed in Lawrence, Kansas, and some of it's filmed in Salt Lake City, like that weird pavilion place. the
Yes.
Salt Air, whatever it's called. That's so
Yes.
creepy. So it's filmed
Yeah.
in Utah and in Lawrence, Kansas.
yeah, it really doesn't look like Hollywood. It's not a Hollywood film, but
No.
it's got that edge to it. And I'm always looking for that
Mm-hmm.
when I watch horror films. I always want to see something that has it. Yeah, that's actually
That's him.
actually the director.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Woo!
You know, another film that's like that came out recently that we talked about was The Vast of Night.
Yes. Yeah.
That's directed by a guy
Yep.
who also did not so much industrial films, but like promotional films for like sports teams and stuff. I think that's what
Right.
his background was. And he made this movie cheap. And, it's another one of those films.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
In
cool.
fact, Larry just said Carolyn suggests Carnival of Souls. There you go.
Cool.
It's
Did
so
he say
good.
that before I mentioned it, or did he predict?
I think so. I
Wow.
think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, impressive.
Ah.
That's an excellent choice.
Yeah. But that's a great movie. It really is.
Nice. Okay. It looks like I'm kind of in slow motion or something weird with my phone. But okay.
There you are. You're
So-
catching up now.
I'm catching up. I'll just freeze.
Yeah.
I'm still talking. Still talking. Okay. So my next movie is a film that I didn't really expect to be as artful and as good as it is. So here we go. Candyman, the new Candyman, which
Oh.
I've seen the original Candyman and it was fun. It was good. Tony Todd was amazing. He had a very imposing presence. He really brought like a cool strength to the role of Candyman.
Yeah.
And the poster for Candyman, the original, with the bee coming into the eye,
Yeah.
Right.
really, really well done poster. I love conceptual poster any day of the week.
Makes my eyes itchy.
I know, it's very creepy. So this was directed by Nia DaCosta, and she is insanely talented. Like this was her first film, her first full-length film,
Right.
and it was so artful and not at all what I expected. It
Oh.
was basically a sequel to the first, which I didn't know. I thought it was a remake. So she did a sequel. She made the story deeper, more tragic.
Oh.
She filled it out. She included it as the art world in it, where there's a painter who's losing his inspiration, so he's trying to find, inspiration where he can. His wife is a gallery owner. There's a lot of tension. But one of the highlights of this film is they use actual shadow puppets. So they hired a company to do actual shadow puppets, and they are like reenactments of history of Candyman in this beautiful puppet way. I mean,
Wow.
shadow puppets are incredible.
That's interesting.
And just her camera work is so gorgeous. And she also, like, you can see just by just a shot like this isn't a horror film, people. Like, is he scary, but look how beautiful that is. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was blown away by how gorgeous this film was, and how great it was, and how elegantly they pulled in the original film into this film. Like, they give hints to it, they don't overplay it. It's just like little overlays of information. So I was really super impressed by this first effort by Nia DaCosta, who is, I can't wait to see the next thing she does. So I highly recommend people need to see this film. It helps to see the first film because you'll appreciate the Easter eggs and, some of the depth of where the story is going. But really, if you want to just let it wash over you, you can watch it. And it's so different in tone from the first one. So much less of like, slasher goofiness. But, the saying Candyman. I'm not even going to say it 5 times because I'm still scared to say it. You say that in the mirror, you're going to summon Candyman. He's going to kill your ass. So that is it. So that's my grand finale, #1 horror film.
Looks good.
Nice.
I'd like to see it too because I only saw the original when it came out back like in '92, so I kind of forgot
Me
the
too.
story.
Yeah.
So maybe I watch a refresher of that and watch this one. It looks
Really
really
well done.
amazing. Yeah, cool.
So I have a bonus question. And if Chad is still in the audience, he will appreciate this. I am asking for people to take a vote. I'm going to make my husband watch a horror film tonight. And we have 2 to choose from.
All
right.
Okay.
It's going to be Malignant or Love and Monsters. So I want to take a vote and like what I know Love and Monsters, people are like, what the hell is Love and Monsters? I've never heard of it. Just decide what we should torture him with tonight. So here we go. We'll just take a minute. Everybody can think about it for a second. And we can go,
Well,
what should we
Chad
make Chad to watch? here
Chad's
tonight?
not really a horror movie guy, right?
No, he's not. He's a good sport, is what he is.
Oh, I have an easy choice.
Oh,
Should I
okay.
say? Should I give my opinion or no?
Yes, you should. We'll let people in the audience first.
Okay.
Let's see if
all right.
anyone.
Jill
is,
says monsters, so love.
Jill
and
says
monsters.
monsters. Yeah, it's great.
Love and
That's great.
Monsters.
Chad
Love
goes,
and Monsters.
Uh-oh, haha.
Yeah, we got Malignant, Love and Monsters. Okay, so we can take while people are kind of thinking about it, we can look at these posters too, because this is a fun, very light looking. It's a comedy horror. It's not too disturbing, but it's really fun. Incredible performances by Michael Rooker, who's down here in the bottom left, and the girl on the right. They steal the show, and the dog. Oh my God, the dog is so good. That has nothing to do with the poster, but I'm going to talk about it. But yeah, this poster pretty much captures it. It's a horror movie. It's got this incredible monster design in it, but it's light in tone. It has this great narration.
So
that is one.
it's a very fun film.
It
It
is.
reminded me of like a movie from the '90s or something. It had that kind of light, very much a movie feel to it. I loved it. I thought it was like, why wasn't this a hit? But of course, it was released during the pandemic. So,
Here's what Chad is correcting us, saying he likes scary, just not violent.
Right.
gotcha.
That's
That
where I
makes
am
sense.
too. I just
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
over the violence and the
It's the extreme
mean-spirited.
gore.
Yeah. For me,
Yeah.
I can handle that even if it's got this vibe of mean. Like if I get the sense that the filmmakers are mean spirited, not I mean they can be depicting characters who are mean spirited, and if it serves the story and tells the story, but if I feel like the filmmakers are just trying to throw a blunt object at me,
Yeah.
then I reject
Yeah.
it.
True. I know. Sometimes it feels like they're just purposely just trying to gross you out. So I want to
Yeah.
show this poster from Malignant too, because it has kind of a retro vibe to it.
Yeah.
I really like it. They made it really slick. I guarantee this started out as a super graphic poster, and then they had to make it look more real. But this film defies description. So it's like this is probably one of James Wan's masterpieces, as far as I'm concerned. Whoops.
Oh,
Bye.
hello, Herc
James Wan's
Harvey.
yeah, we'll talk about him next. So let's see. Have we gotten the votes in? Let's take a look here. Okay, we have.
Looks
let's
like the
see.
monsters, Love and Monsters.
Yeah, it looks like people are being nice. Let's see.
And Larry brings up two Jacques Tournier films here. He says Cat People and The Leopard Man on TCM.
Oh yeah.
And those are two films that I would totally recommend. Those have a creepy vibe to them. They're beautifully made though. There's very artfully made, and they're the kind of films that have. I know this gets talked about a lot with these two particular films, but they have a sense of dread, and Jacques Tournier was so good with making movies that were scary, but they didn't have like a franchise monster in it or something. There was, when you think Cat People or The Leopard Man, you expect there's going to be this leopard man, like a wolf man with makeup, leopard spots running around killing people. But it's more than that, actually. It's his movies, Cat People, and all of his things like
Curse of the Demon.
Curse of the Demon is so great. That one actually does have a monster in it, but they stuck it in there. I think he didn't want to have a monster in there. But the film company...
the monsters in Love and Monsters are super high end. Like, this is not like a huge budget film, but they are gorgeous. Like, and they're not like super scary. They're more like creatures that have mutated. So you have like a snail that's like as big as a house.
I'm going to go with that one. I think Chad would like that one.
You've never seen monsters like that snail monster.
It's so good.
Beautiful monster.
I love it. Yeah. So it is. So it looks like most people are saying monsters tonight. So Chad's lucking out. It doesn't mean he's not watching Malignant also, but we are going to do Love and Monsters tonight. He's not getting out of Malignant. That needs to be seen by everyone.
For Chad's sake, I think maybe you could show Chad some scenes from Malignant just for the choreography and the interesting idea of the end of it. But the rest of the film, I don't know.
So there's our Halloween special. We had a vote, we had a democracy, and we have horror. It's pretty much,
we've decided show. Chad's fate. Just
we decided we are judge, jury, and executioner. Right?
We've made decisions for him.
Chad says, "I'm doomed either way," which is so true. Chad.
There's no getting out of it. Take your medicine.
Democracy with a in quotes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks everybody for staying with us for so long and contributing and saying fun things and good. Oh, and before we leave, I know this is the very end. Everybody throw out right now their favorite horror movie for Halloween. Like, I just want to hear what it is for, like, especially like if you're gonna watch Halloween. I know Chad. I think I know what Chad's is.
And while we wait, I'm going to show this.
You must be stopped.
Okay, let's hear the scary Halloween movies.
Is anybody giving us?
Chad just said this. He's still feeling sorry for himself.
Oh.
Jill says Buffy episode The Gentleman.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Nice one. Retro, cool, and obscure.
And we can, if you want.
For me, mine will be the Cannibal Holocaust. No.
Oh, good God.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't talk about it.
Mine would always be the first.
Yes, Mark, what is yours?
Oh, well, Larry just said the original Mummy with Boris Karloff.
Oh, yeah.
Very good choice.
I love those movies.
So good.
Valley Escapes comes up with Knock Knock, which is that movie with Keanu Reeves.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Have I seen? Is that where the two girls come over?
Yes.
Kind of stalkerish.
Yes.
Okay.
The two girls come
that's
over.
That's a creepy one.
I forgot who directed that. Oh, I think it was that guy. Eli
The Shining.
The Shining.
Somebody gets kicked in the shin for now.
Slow tonight, isn't it?
Nice. The Shining is always good all the time. I was actually predicting Trick or Treat anthology for Chad because he loves that movie. It's a really good one, and it's the spirit of the thing. It's the spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? Did we miss anyone? I think that was it.
Is that it? Should we?
Thanks, you guys.
Sign off?
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for really appreciate you spending some time with us and all that good stuff.
Very
I hope
cool.
everybody has a good, safe, happy Halloween. And I don't know how people are doing the handing out candy. I don't know if kids are going around. I did some decoration in the
think they
yard this
are.
year, and we're just gonna leave a bowl out, I guess. Like take what you want, kind of thing. I don't know.
We're gonna make ours come to the door.
Oh, really?
with
Maybe
us.
we should. We just have a loud dog.
They have
who-
masks on.
When they come to the door,
Yeah.
we have a.
We'll
we
have
can't-
masks on.
Our dog overrules.
Oh yeah, that's
everything.
true. Yeah, darn. All right. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. See ya.
Take it easy, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.